I was born in the Bronx, an Italian-American family.
I was born in New York, and I grew up in San Francisco. My parents were kind of like hippies.
I was born outside of Philadelphia in a small town. I guess my family was like storybook, kind of normal family.
I grew up in a suburb of Detroit, one of the supposedly wealthier suburbs of Detroit. Middle class kind of family.
I grew up in Omaha, in Nebraska, and when I first moved there, I'd moved from Pennsylvania.
I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I started out, I think initially a very bright light, but at a very young age, around 2, I felt enveloped in fear.
I come from a very self-destructive family, a family where you couldn't express your feelings, where you couldn't say a word, where you couldn't make a smile, where you couldn't make a smirk.
I was like this child prodigy when I was a kid, you know. I started playing piano when I was 4 years old.
Yeah, I was adopted when I was 3 months old.
When I was 11, my father died.
I know now that my mother had tried to kill me, but I didn't know this at the time. I'd blocked it out.
So my dad came from money. He was brought up by maids and didn't really know how to take care of himself or like have any responsibility. He didn't really have much. When my mom married him, it was like perfect, you know. Everything was all set up. Everything was totally set up for her. They were like perfect. They were beautiful. She was 19. You know, they were living in New York. And everything looked like it was going to be really good.
It was all about what I could accomplish and what I could be, not who I was at the time.
I remember everything spinning. The pain was so great that everything was just spinning. And I felt like I didn't fit in. I didn't feel like I was a part of anything. I felt like I was on the outside looking in, but I wasn't even on the outside looking in. I was looking the other way.
I never felt like I could really function in the normal world.
I remember doing 2 things. One was trying to learn how to cook. And I would go and put my little chair up and try to cook because we were literally starving because she was out of the house. And then also was when I first started to try to kill myself.
The kind of dysfunction in my family was the non-communicating type, where it was dinner and then television. Dinner and then television, or television during dinner. You know, so you didn't have to talk about anything.
I still feel like now that maybe I could have used like more like caressing and hugs and just like positive kind of affirmations as a kid.
My father was taking a lot of drugs and drinking, selling drugs. So she took us away, and we moved to San Francisco, and we lived in the Haight, and we lived in a house with about 10 other people. And my brother and I were living with my mom and all these people, and it was fun, I guess. It was a lot of drugs happening. There was a lot of pot, a lot of LSD, and beer, and drinking, whatever.
I think that I felt really angry at society, but I really don't know why. And I felt really outside. I felt really like an outsider. But I grew up feeling that way.
And I would go and put my little chair up and get out the butcher knife out of the drawer, and I'd go into my closet and shut the door and be in the dark, and I would try to kill myself. But I would get so far it would hurt, or I would cut myself a bit, and then I would stop and just feel like I was going crazy, and maybe I would tear up my dolls or something, only secretly, very secretly in the closet. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with these feelings, all this conflict going on at home. I didn't know who to tell about it. I didn't talk to anybody. I stopped talking to people. And I just started dancing a lot. But even dancing I hated. After a while I hated it. It wasn't doing it for me anymore. And it was just nothing but pain and hard work and starving, and it was not fun for me anymore.
I would just feel this kind of institutional kind of oppression at school that I did. It was like kind of a 50s, early 60s kind of school with nuns with little mustaches and stuff. And I would just say, I'm not going. And I'd just take a turn the other way and head up to the railroad tracks. And I would just feel this freedom come over me, just like I can do anything I want.
And I felt so uncomfortable walking down every hallway. Going to school was like this. It was traumatic, because getting from this class to that class, oh my God, I'm going to have to walk down this hall and these people will make fun of me, and it was horrible. It's like this horrible, horrible time. I could not wait to get out of high school. Could not wait.
Once I was ever away from the home at first, in first grade, I was just traumatized, because it was like I could not live outside of this enclosed system. And it seemed like there was very little outside. It was like there was just the inside. The outside became a traumatic fear to me. So, and being away from my younger sister, the second year, it was like I could just barely wait till play period where we would connect and almost be like one person. But for me, every time I removed myself from this system, I couldn't even function.